Hey everyone, this is Chris and Sandy Benton with the Chris and Sandy Show. We get up close and personal with some amazing guests throughout the entertainment industry. And today, like I say on every episode, we got a great one for you. Who do we have?
We had Joe Barksdale with us today. During his 8-year NFL career, he made his music debut with the release of his first album, Butterflies, Rainbows, and Moonbeams, in 2017. Following his retirement in 2019, he relocated to Austin, Texas to pursue music full-time. His new album, Yours Truly, features 13 tracks in his signature style.
And we're excited to have him on. So welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Thank
you guys for having me.
I always like to start the show out. It's kind of the same way. Last 2 years have been rough for the entertainment industry.
Mm-hmm.
And I always like to go there first. So how has all this affected what you do? And what have you done to maneuver through this?
It's pretty much affected everything I do because I retired from football in order to be available to play shows.
Yeah.
And then,
so then there are no shows. But it helped me in that I wasn't a producer before COVID. So over those 2 years, I learned how to produce, how to mix music, how to make my own, how to play more than just the guitar. So I learned how to play the bass, the keys. So this is the thing I say all the time, like you take what you can until you can get what you want. So I took what I could, obviously there weren't any shows, but I was able to explore music from a different perspective of creation. And it's been fantastic. So
and it seems to be coming back now.
Yeah, and it does seem to be coming back now. Obviously, artists of my stature will have to wait a little longer, but that's okay because I get to continue to, do podcast interviews with great people like yourselves, and then also continue to sharpen my tools.
And I think this all taught the whole entertainment industry a lesson too, in another sense that they learned a new skill, because I think the future of music is going to be, you're going to do your live shows with a live audience, but now you're going to set up your live social media where all your people around the world can tune in. So it's going to be I think it's going to be a combo of the both worlds.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And who would have thought, again, 2-3 years ago, nobody, even though few people were kind of playing with that idea, nobody really on this scale thought of that.
Mm-hmm. No, that's true.
Like for us, we launched this show January of 2020. So a few months before COVID. And I remember thinking, 100 interviews first year, be a great foundation. And then this happens. And I'm like, well, everything's getting shut down. All these entertainers are going to need a place to talk.
Yes.
We're going to give it to them. So we're going to step it up. And we end up doing over 300 interviews our first year. And we're over 500 now.
Nice. Congratulations. You guys are working.
Trying to. It's been we haven't done as much the last few weeks because my dad passed recently and all that on March 1st. So it's kind of been spotty out there, but we're trying to get back in it again.
Well, with 500 interviews, y'all probably needed the break anyway.
Probably did.
Yeah.
But it's a passion of ours, so we can't quit.
We love it.
Sure.
And all that. And speaking of passion, I read that you went 8 years in football and realized that really wasn't a passion, but music was. Tell us that story of where the aha moment was.
Oh, there was never an aha moment. I was never into sports like people think I was. I don't.
Oh, wow.
Like I was a STEM kid growing up, so I was doing a lot of science, technology, engineering, and math camps and programs. My first scholarships were academic, and
oh wow.
I got kicked out of an engineering camp over the summer and needed something to do to stay out of trouble. I was like 14, 15, so I started playing football. Yeah, and it was. I actually just talked to someone else about this. I fell in love with the relationship that I had with my high school coach. It wasn't the sport of football. It was, the relationship that we had in terms of, him being like a dad and a mentor and a big brother and, all those things. And when he died, those goals that I set in football became that much more important to me because they were the last thing I had left, of him. And I realized that, he wouldn't want me to be continuing to like make myself miserable in order to chase something that it doesn't even look like it's going to happen. Like I was never on any winning teams. So I don't know what the playoffs are like. I don't know what a Super Bowl looks like. None of those things. So, it was a painful conclusion to come to, but it was necessary. Now, granted, like you just said with 2020, you can imagine I beat myself up for 2 whole years. Hey, what you quit to do music? Your calendar would have looked the exact same if you were still playing. You stupid. But no, I'm glad. But I'm glad that I was able to, learn the things regarding production and so forth. Like I actually have a show next week, and it's like one of those unplugged type shows. But I'm gonna be able to, have more sound because I can play so many things. I can produce little backing tracks for myself now.
Oh wow!
Oh, that's great.
I feel like a kid talking to his mom. I can make pizza now. But yeah, I'm sorry.
So when did it click for you that music could actually be a career for you?
Oh, when I was a kid. I used to play in the band in middle school, and I remember back then, like my band teacher was really, really interested in like making sure that I had opportunities to get better. Like,
oh wow,
signing me up for programs that were outside of the school. Letting my parents know, like, this guy can be something special. This is back when I was playing the saxophone.
Oh wow,
oh wow, awesome.
Yeah. So that was the first time I thought about music as a career. But you start thinking about like, how am I gonna make my own songs? And are people gonna like this? Can I even sing? So it took me about 20 years to get it together. But sometimes good things take time. So
and speaking of that, sounds like a lot of sacrifice here. Love that part is perfect lead in for where I want this to go now. As you know, a lot of people, they see the glory in what you do, but they don't see the grind, the sacrifice, the tears, the struggles that it takes to get to the top levels of entertainment. And I always like to talk about that because I think a lot of times people kind of sugarcoat and gloss over this. They think if you got the talent, you've got it made, you'll make it. We both know that's not true. So let's take a few moments and talk about some of the sacrifices and struggles you've had to go through in your life to get here.
Biggest one would be the one that I was just talking about as far as burying those football goals, those dreams. That was a pretty painful process. I've missed countless. Are we talking like sports or music or both?
We can do both. So
with sports, like I don't really have a relationship with my family. I was never really around my family during the time I was playing because I was always playing. I don't really see holidays the way that other people see them because I was always working on those days.
Right.
And now even Thanksgiving for the professional football.
Yeah.
And it just becomes, I don't know. I think your view on life just changes a little bit, but you sacrifice certain things. I mean, even when I was in high school, I sacrificed the fun part of senior year because I graduated a semester early. So I didn't get to goof off with the rest of the class and almost get arrested. But I think about that a lot. Honestly, I sacrificed my mental health and I didn't know this at the time, but you sacrifice your mental health and your body playing sports, but especially your mental when you're talking about being, at the time I wasn't diagnosed autistic, being an autistic person around a team of non-autistic people. It's not a very
because
good
people don't understand
at all. You don't even understand yourself.
That's true.
I wouldn't say this is a sacrifice though. I don't really have many relationships with people, but I think that's more like from
who you are.
Yeah, and like things that have happened in the past, and I don't know. Like it's hard to make friends or like build relationships with new people for me. I guess it's always been that way.
Well, we understand that because
understand
we've been married almost 20 years and we keep ourselves in a bubble.
We do sometimes.
And it's like, because people don't, we've been a 24/7 couple our whole marriage, but we've always worked together, always done different things together. And because your average couple, they can't comprehend that.
Right.
They got to always question, oh, y'all don't trust each other, y'all this, y'all that, y'all unhealthy. So it's hard to find true friends, even for us, because they don't understand this is how we choose to live our marriage.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. Like, I think I don't know. I think if anything, I don't know your friends. But that sounds like some of that sounds like jealousy. Like let's be honest, the divorce rate is what 50% in this country.
It
People, misery loves company. Like it's hard to it's
And
easy
we're
to
going
get
to cross
married. It's
20
hard to
years
stay
in
married.
October.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
But I mean, yeah, any good relationship is people are going to be like, what's really going on? And that's
exactly.
But that's what makes it special. There is nothing going on, and the quicker they realize that, the quicker their relationships can get better. So you guys are setting a great example, and I mean, everyone doesn't have to be that way.
They would have been right early on because I went through 19 years of addictions, and the first 5 years of our marriage was still in that.
Mm-hmm.
So it was really hectic on her, but she never nagged me, never put me down. She uplifted me, was my cheerleader. She did everything in her power to help me realize that God loves me, and so does she.
Yeah.
And it was through her that I was able to kick the addictions and all that for now over 14 years.
And that's the thing that's another thing people don't want to go through. They don't want to go, like you were talking about the sacrifices and all that. Like that time in your life, I'm sure had a direct effect on like you guys' relationship now. But you talk to any of these other people that's talking all this shit about you. Like, I'm sorry, can I say that? Oh, okay. These other people that are talking all this stuff about you, like they don't want to go through the years of addiction and the stuff that y'all went through to build the marriage y'all did, but they want to be in the marriage.
Yeah, because no matter what, again, when you talk about marriage, you got two people that has their own baggage. I don't care who they are. Everybody has baggage.
Some form,
and they're going to make this life together. You're going to go through a lot of crap before you finally get it together. But but if you make it to that other side, then you get to the point like with us. I think what makes us so powerful right now is we don't take each other for granted because we know where we come from. We know where we almost ended, and all that. And when we made it through this. So, what
it is, it's the pain and the suffering. I mean, people don't want to talk about that, but pain and suffering is the only way to become a person of greatness. You look at anybody's biography, anybody that anybody looks up to, their life has not just been sunshine and rainbows. Like pain is, everybody wants to be great, but nobody wants to go through pain
to get there.
Yeah.
But you have to go through pain to be great because, I've watched people who
shapes you.
I've watched people who haven't had a whole lot of pain in their life. I mean, everybody has pain, but there's some people that don't they've been sheltered through their life. And then at 30, something big happens and they just crumble. And it's because, so they still have to go through the pain. It's just later in life. I'd rather go through it earlier to build that up.
Yeah.
Because you sure don't want to go through it at 30 and 40 and that's your first time really feeling real pain.
Oh yeah, no, that's very scary. But you're right, that's a lot of people's reality.
And that's what makes a great story.
Yeah, that's true too.
Because who wants to read a book and
where everything went perfect?
I mean,
who can relate?
Or you watch a Lifetime movie and you're watching it, and because even the Hallmark movies, as great as a Hallmark is, they always have the downfall, and then they have the fairy tale, then the nightmare, and then back to fairy tale. That's kind of how we have been, and all that. So again, it's like no matter who we are in life, we're going to have our fairy tale moments and we're going to have our nightmare moments. It's just a matter of making it through it together so that we can cross that finish line the day we die. So, what are some moments that are like wow for you, highlight moments? We talked a little bit about the struggle side. Let's go the other way.
Meeting Kobe Bryant was a wow moment.
Oh wow.
And actually like building a relationship with him was another wow moment. It was the closest I ever felt to like being someone of significance.
Oh wow.
He was connected to so many people, and in my mind I'm like if this person that's been around all these people
just knowing him, you're like 2 degrees from the world.
Yeah, but not from a 2 degrees from the world standpoint. I look at it like if this dude has seen, it's like when you get a good movie review by a movie reviewer that's seen a ton of movies, you get a good person review by someone that's seen a ton of people. it's pretty humbling, you know, that person would want to spend time with you.
Yes.
You know, yeah, I meant it from that aspect. Another wild moment was when I wrote my first song. Just like, wow, I could actually do this. This is okay. You know? I like to do threes. Another wild moment when I learned how to produce.
Oh wow.
Like when I learned how to, like, you know, produce music and mix it. It's addictive. It's very addictive. But yeah, I love that side of it too now. So yeah.
Tell us about yours truly.
It is. So all of my albums follow that signature, you know, sincerely, then this is going to be yours truly. It's an open letter from me to whoever wants to read it. This is the most open and vulnerable I've ever been in any music that I've dropped. And I actually, when I was listening to the masters, I thought to myself, like, do I want to release this? Like, this is personal stuff, but you know, I mean, I wrote it and I like the way it sounds, and you know, hopefully other people dig it too. But yours truly is coming from a place of a combination of honesty and authenticity with vulnerability. Like I said, being the overarching theme. I wanted people to know more about me. Like there's three extra tracks on the project, but these aren't songs, these are interludes. In the interludes you can get, I have a friend of mine, her name is Mia Davis, fantastic actress, by the way. I had her read both parts of my inner dialogue to try to personify it. So one of them's about music, the other one's about mental health, and one's about comedy. But yeah, between that and then actually listening to the songs, this is me becoming the artist that I've been trying to become in terms of, you know, artists that I love and the way that they present themselves and their music and content and so forth. So I'm very excited about it. I even played some of the drums, not the acoustic drums. I do. I play drum machine. I have an Akai MPC. So yeah, it's another step in the direction of me, you know, telling my story, you know, carving out my, you know, sound and, you know, continuing on this journey.
Wow. Love that. As you know, a lot of people, they see you, but they don't see the teams that surround you. In our opinion, the teams never get love.
They don't.
On our show, they get love. So take a few moments and tell us about the team that helps you be who you are.
Okay. There's my wife, you know, I mean, my wife and my kids. So Brianna, Kennedy, and Kendall. We got 2 dogs, 2 Doberman, Anakin and Aria. That's my support system, you know, in terms of just, you know, it's my family. That's the best way I can put that. Outside of that sphere, I've got people that help me on, but like Aaron Amos, he works for Brianna. Well, he works for Brianna and I, but he's my music manager, and also with the comedy and so forth. Pretty much if you're trying to book me, that's the person you're going to talk to. He also helps me coordinate my calendar, and helps me coordinate like rehearsals, which in and of itself is just, I mean, golly, that's a job. Coordinating all these different people's schedules. Like I tried it. Do you guys know I'm mentally ill too? Like I had an episode.
Oh wow.
I was trying to coordinate schedules and I was like, it shouldn't be, you know, like in my mind, it shouldn't be this hard. Like I don't know, what am I not doing right? You know.
Wow.
So there's Aaron. David is my publicist. He had him and Rael. I hope I'm pronouncing that the right way. It's either Rael or right. Let's keep it at Rael. David and Rael help from a lifestyle, you know, publicity standpoint, and then there's Ryan and the other team at Jensen Communications who help me from a music publicity standpoint. Is my therapist. I'm not gonna say her name because HIPAA laws, but I am trying to get her on my next album, so that'd be cool. My psychiatrist is actually retiring, but I'm gonna find another psychiatrist, so we're just gonna say my psychiatrist for now. The psychiatrist is the one who prescribes me the medication, and we check in once a month
Yeah.
to see how I'm doing on the medication, the monitoring and stuff like that.
Mhm.
I would say the pastor of my church, his name is Brad Thomas, but the whole church just in general, Austin Ridge, is a fantastic place. And I'm a very spiritual. Is the word spiritual? I believe in God, and I actually did the research when I went to college, because if I'm gonna base my life on this, I need to know
Right.
what I'm basing my life on.
That makes sense.
There's Marilyn McCormick, who is my acting / performance coach. She helps. So I do stand-up comedy too.
Okay. Yeah.
So she helps me with being more expressive, because I don't know how to show emotion on my face because of the autism.
Oh,
So
wow.
she helps me
Okay.
be learn how to be emotionally expressive and those kind of things,
Wow.
and just be a better performer.
That makes a lot of sense.
It does.
There's Mario Castellanos. He's my bass player, and he's one of the people that's been influential. He's everything you've heard that I produce, he's played the bass on.
Wow.
He's great dude, and he's actually how I met the rest of my band. The rest of the band is Brennan Howell. He's our drummer, and Bryce Powell. He's a keyboard player, and we have a singer named Alyssa Harris. So all of them too. I'm trying to think if I'm forgetting anybody. There's Oscar Zamora. He's my trainer. There's Grace. She's my chef. I'm on a very strict. Okay. It's okay. People call it very strict. I don't see it as very strict. I'm on a very strict eating plan.
Well, if you like it, right?
Yeah, I like it. That's why I was like, yeah, that's what matters. And you feel good when you eat better. I just think some people just eat really bad, and so kind of like you guys, what you were talking about with your relationship earlier.
Yes, exactly.
There's 3 of my best friends, Nick McGowan, Megan Wilson, and what is Diamond's last name? Wow, I cannot think of Diamond's last name. I'm sorry, Diamond. But I've known Megan the longest out of the 3. I've known Megan since kindergarten.
Oh, wow.
But they're people that I talk to all the time. And my therapist would be she's one of my closest friends too. So
love that. Speaking of teens, we have a third co-host, our 10-year-old.
Yes, we do.
To ask a few questions. So Sandy's gonna go get him.
I'll get him.
Okay.
And we got a 3-year-old that when she gets older, she'll be plugged in a show too, because we're keeping that family affair.
That's cool. That's cool.
So what's next in your world?
So I've got some shows the next 2 weeks. I started a comedy show. I started producing a comedy show called Fresh Lineups. It's actually at my barbershop. Fresh Lineups at the barbershop. It's once a month on Thursdays. So I've got that coming up next week. I've got a musical show coming up next week. I'm trying out for the church worship team tonight from 6 to 9. I'm very nervous.
Cool.
I'm very nervous. I don't know why I'm nervous. My wife says I shouldn't be, but I'm very nervous.
It's in God's hands, right?
I mean, yeah, but at the same time, you don't. I mean, it's easier to say that after a win than a loss. It's in God's hands. When you won, it's great. But when you lose, it's all part of God. So God wants me to be a loser. And we're going to Disney World. Not next week, but the week after next. I am so excited. We're going to that Star Wars hotel, the Halcyon. And I'm so excited. Oh my God, I'm so excited. Sorry.
4 weeks from today, we're going to Nashville for a week.
Oh, that'll be fun.
In fact, our very first trip last year to Nashville, we were walking on almost to Broadway. We was in front of Honky Tonk Central, and one of the band members seen little Chris out. We were just out on the sidewalk, and gave a drumstick to somebody to go hand him. So he hands him a drumstick. Said, that guy in there wants you to have this. So we thought that was cool. So we didn't think anything of it. So we walk across the street, across Broadway. So we're in front of Dierks Bentley Row, and we're sitting there. And the lead singer of whoever that was singing that night, she looks down, sees the drumstick in his hand, jumps down, and asks him, "How would you like to play drums with us for a song?"
Nice.
So she pulls him through the window, puts him on stage in front of 200-300 people, however many people that can fit, because it was packed house. And he getting to play the drums for the first time ever in front of our audience on a stage on Broadway.
Nice. That's a great introduction.
So how was that?
It was great.
He's gonna be looking down on the rest of the gigs he gets to the house. This isn't like Broadway.
What's funny is after that, every time we stopped in front of one of the windows, he would hold the drumstick up, seeing if he could recreate that.
Hey, why not? Work once.
Exactly.
I feel you.
All right.
All right, hi Joseph. What's your favorite food?
My favorite food, steak. Yeah, specifically ribeye steak. I didn't even have to think about it. Yeah, I love steak.
Because what's yours?
Mine is pizza.
Nice.
You eat it all day long.
I used to love pizza. Well, actually, no, I was always like, I still love pizza. It just messes up my stomach, but I still do eat it from time to time.
All right, so what's your favorite TV show and movie?
Favorite TV show? Is this of all time?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do a tie. I'm gonna say Everybody Hates Chris.
Yeah.
Yeah, I relate a lot to that show. I think it's hilarious. And then my most favorite movie of all time. I'm still gonna say Goodfellas. It's been Goodfellas for like a long time, but yeah, still Goodfellas. Yeah, I love Goodfellas. I could watch it whenever.
Because what's yours?
My favorite TV show is SpongeBob, and my favorite movie is The Minions.
Nice. I was hoping you didn't say Goodfellas for your favorite movie. Like, he's 10 years old.
What's bad is he's 10, but he's 5'2".
Oh, wait, is that? I don't know what normal height is for normal age. Wait,
So,
there's no such thing as normal. I don't know.
Like he's like tall for 10.
Oh, you're gonna be tall. Okay.
He's almost as tall as mom.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's why she pulled you through that window. You probably look like a grown man sitting out there with that drumstick.
Everybody thinks he's like 12 or 13. And I mean, in the face, you can tell he's not. But when you look at his body, he's like 12
keep
or
your birth
13.
certificate on you. Just keep a copy in your pocket just in case. Because when you start playing sports, I need a certificate on that kid. No, let me see that. You know.
Bye, thanks.
No problem. It's nice to meet you.
He loved to do the show. He's been on almost every episode.
Yeah.
Nice.
So if you could co-write with any artist, dead or alive, who would it be?
Marvin Gaye.
Ooh.
Oh, that's a great one. Yeah.
Marvin Gaye. Sly Stone is real close second, like a real close second. But Marvin Gaye.
So what's a song you've heard, and this probably has 1,000 answers, but what's a song you've heard you wish you wrote?
What's going on?
Oh, great.
I mean, that whole album, I wish I wrote it. It's fantastic.
Yes.
Yeah. So what's going on?
I remember I asked that question to somebody, and it was like, whatever the current number one is.
So they were thinking monetarily.
I was like, that's smart, though.
Yeah.
I'm sure you can probably find out a lot about people's motivations with those kind of questions.
Yes, and somebody said happy birthday. Remember, because everybody sings happy birthday. Uses that one, yeah.
Because that would make you super rich, right?
Yeah.
That one.
It would make you super rich.
So, where do you want to be in 5 years?
Okay, what I'm about to say is unrealistic, but it is where I want to be in 5 years.
That's the goal, is to have a vision here.
The vision.
In 5 years, I want to be as big as Drake, Kanye West. I want to be touring the world. I want the people around me to be successful. It's one thing for you to be successful, but like, I want to be able to pay my band enough to where, like, you know, they don't have to work.
Yeah.
You know, I want to be able to, you know, pour back into the people that poured into me. like I said, with that success. I would like to be also touring the world as a comedian. I want to win the Mark Twain Prize for American Humor too. So I hopefully I've done like 2 or 3 specials by then, at least 1 hour long special. And I would want to be on my way to taking music in a different direction and creating a space that didn't exist before me.
Wow. And that's great because like back in 2014 or 15 actually it was we interviewed 15. Kelsey Ballerini before she was Kelsey, so to speak. And look, and when I asked her that question, I remember the answer she gave us is to the T of what she's living now. I mean, here it is 5-6 years later. She knew where she was going and she made it happen. So we know we've watched people literally go from, you know, from where she was to where she is now in 5 years. So it can happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So let's look further down the road. Let's say 15 years down the road. And you're a success on a grand scale. Whatever that looks like for you, you've made it. What do you hope that you never forget when you get there?
That I'm a human being, you know, that I don't know everything, that I don't have all the answers. I mean, and I feel like my life, you know, with the illnesses and the disorders and stuff, you know, remind me of that constantly, but I don't have all the answers. And, you know, I mean, while I can do a lot of things alone, you can't do everything by yourself. So just remaining humble, you know what I mean? Like continuing to be the person I am in terms of like, I don't know how to do this. Let me ask someone, as opposed to, I don't know how to do this, but I'm super successful. So this has got to be right. You know, that kind of thing. I don't ever want to become unhumble, and I don't ever want to become uncharitable. Like helping the poor is really important to me.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah. What are some sources of inspiration for you?
My emotions. It's really easy for me to put my emotions in the songs because I don't just hear sounds, like I can feel the sounds too. So I can, you know, personify how I'm feeling with music, like with tones and so forth. And then painful moments. And that's not just painful moments as in like someone died or, you know, that kind of thing. But I mean, you know, some memories are sad memories. Like when you have some good memories have sadness to them when members of them are no longer in your life anymore. Those kind of things. And honesty, just me being honest about where I'm at and how I feel. So I'll probably say those 3 things.
Awesome. And what would you like for your legacy to be in entertainment? What would you like to be known and remembered for?
Helping people. More than anything, it makes me feel really good when I get messages from people or hear from people who were, and this has nothing to do with music, but I guess it has something to do with music, but people are like, you know, I heard your music interview, you talked about the mental health, you know, that really helped me. You know, that kind of helping people. That's what I want to be known for, helping people.
Oh, great answer. And if you could say anything to your followers, what would you want to tell them?
I appreciate y'all. I really do. And, you know, obviously I'm just getting started, but, you know, I don't forget about who was around at the beginning. So I do appreciate y'all. And I hope you're doing well, you know.
Love that. So as we close out here, what advice would you give somebody who wants to do what you do?
You should get qualified advice. And I know somebody got mad at me when I said this on the interview, but it's true. There are people who are singing that shouldn't be singing. There are people who are, pursuing music full time. I was working out. There's people who are doing a bunch of things. When I first moved to Austin, I started working out with this dude who, he was my bodybuilding coach. This man had been trying to become a professional bodybuilder for 20 years.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
And it happened on year 20. So now I think he's on 21, 22. Qualified advice. Like, you know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff. Like, I mean, who's in your life telling you to continue that?
Right.
It's 20 years. I mean, y'all been married for 20 something years. Like,
Yeah.
imagine this whole time if he was trying to become a professional bodybuilder and it didn't work,
We just went the other way where we probably started 100 different business ideas and all failed.
And they failed. Yeah.
And we didn't stick around. We would do this. It didn't work. Do this. So we didn't stick to it for 20 years.
We just did 100
We just did 100 different things in this time.
You know what though? Everybody's story is different, and that's how you had to find what worked for y'all. But so get the qualified advice. Like, don't just listen to your mama and your friends who are going to tell the truth.
What's funny about that, though, you see, even there you have to be careful. And we interviewed a guy that worked for one of the big labels, and one of the questions I asked him.
Oh yeah, one of the Nashville labels.
One of the questions I asked him was what was his biggest regrets when he did work at the labels. Big mistakes, I should say, he made. And he says, people are going to shoot me for this one. he says, but when Kenny Chesney and Jason Aldean both came to him, he said they'll never make it. He says, I didn't sign them. And
he said he couldn't see it.
I couldn't see it. And so he was like, he was letting everybody know. He says, just because us executives have an opinion does not always mean we're right.
Yeah, that's true. I think sometimes people assume that, and that's what I was talking about with the human thing earlier. People assume that people that are at the top or in this executive level are now, batting 1,000, perfect. And like, these are still human beings like everybody else. They make mistakes. You hear people, I can't believe they turned down so and so and so. You probably would have done it too if you were in their shoes at that time. Like, it's just like when you hear Christians talking about Adam and Eve. I can't believe Adam and Eve bit the apple. You would have done it too. Or not the apple, but the fruit. You would have done it too.
Yes.
These people that point at you talking about, you need Jesus. Well, Jesus died for everybody. You need him too. But, yeah.
We all do.
Yeah. And I think, I think it's okay for those people to make those kind of mistakes. You know how many people told me that I'd never play at it? These are just people who told me I would never get on the field at LSU.
Wow.
Let alone college. And I mean, let alone, the NFL and all that other kind of stuff. So that's,
a lot of people that's made it to top levels in different industries. I've learned that they've always said there's like 3 or 4 cycles that people go through. First, they tell you can't do it. Then they tell you it won't last. Then they tell you were lucky. And then at the very end, they're telling everybody, I always knew they'd make it.
That's true. I've experienced that with football. That is true. You forgot the 5th phase when they start hitting you up asking for money.
Ooh,
there we go.
Yeah.
Next time I tell that, I'm about to add that one too.
That phase is in. Hey, I always knew you could. You think I could hold a couple $1,000? It's just $1,000. Well, if it's just $1,000, why don't you have it? Come on, baby.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I love that. And again, I love that people can be candid on the show because, we never know where the show's going to go.
And that's what we love about
and that's what I love about this. I think that's why we're so passionate about doing this and why we've been able to do so many, because it's not like a rut where it's like you do it over and over and over, because
it's a different guest.
Every guest has this different story and different, even if I ask the same question, they're not answering it the same way. So it's like, ooh, I never thought of that. So it's been over 500 perspectives that we've been able to tap into
and learn from.
That's fantastic.
So
tell
everybody how they can find you.
So there's the America's Most Wanted watch list. If you just, no, I'm just playing. My website is joebarksdale.com. You can just Google search Joe Barksdale music. and that's where you'll find links to the Spotify and the Apple iTunes, Apple Music, so forth. I also am on social media. Again, you can find those links on joebarksdale.com, but it's at JBDale, JBD as in dog, ALE72, on Twitter and on Instagram. Email is at info@josephbarksdale.com. If you want to reach out, you can DM me or send me an email. And I'm just trying to make sure that's everything. Yeah, that's everything.
Love that. We really enjoyed having you on the
We
show today, and
did.
we definitely look forward to having you back down the road.
Oh, thank you for having me, and I look forward to being back. This was fantastic.
I love
Oh,
it.
you were a great guest. Thanks so
Oh,
much for your time today.
Thank you guys